G'day guys, Dobbs here for BGL Media, and today we're looking at AFL Evolution. Some screenshots there, a bit late to the party, but I got my boy Treg here. Treg, not bad screenshots we're about to look at.
No, absolutely. They look fantastic, if I must say so myself. And yeah, looking forward to digging into each one individually to talk about this awesome game that's going to come out very soon, we hope.
Yeah, you'd imagine to come over the next month or two. As you can see here, as we go to the first screenshot, which are slowly starting to release some screenshots. And this first one here of all the players from Captain's Day isn't all too bad, apart from probably Heppel's melon there, which you can call it a melon because it's bloody huge.
Absolutely, yeah.
What are your first thoughts on this one, Trek?
No, I'm liking it. Pardon me, I'm liking it. You can look at every single player there and you can tell who they are. Even Heppel, who's looking a little on the bloated side. But you can tell it's him, you can tell it's every one of those captains. So I reckon it's fantastic. They've done a good job.
Yep, and another interesting looking one there in the background as we look now. It's probably Fife doesn't look as good as what he should have been back there.
Yeah, no, good point. Actually, now that you mention it, I thought that when they actually released his the face shot, I thought Fife not as good as it could have been, but still pretty good. You can still tell it's him, I think.
Another thing I've noticed here is you can tell all the Guernseys aren't finalised. You can see a couple of the shorts there, mainly on Richmond and Essendon, without sponsors on the right-hand side of their shorts. You just think they're going to be added in, obviously, because it's a licensed game. They will be added. Maybe just weren't confirmed at the time of this screenshot, or
yeah, I'm hoping they will be, and I do think they will be. But like you said, they probably just weren't confirmed at the time of the actual screenshot itself, and them doing all the other. Well, we've got all the other sponsors of all the other teams too. So yeah, you'd think they'd be added in very, very soon. So they should be in the game.
So looking at that screenshot there, we'd say so far so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, really good.
As we move on to the next screenshot at the mighty SCG, may I say, a bit of a biased Swan supporter here. But you can see there, Cornelia is kicking on his opposite foot, but that doesn't matter because it's a nice kicking technique. You can easily see Josh Kennedy chasing him from behind. Another thing I like compared to AFL Live 2, you can see on the left-hand side, the players are chasing, running the way the ball's going. When you saw a couple of the AFL Live 2 screenshots, they're all going in different directions. It was just all over the spot. I like this. The little beer tower left of the new grandstand is there, the brewery. You can see the ladies' stand and the members' pavilion there. And what do you think on this one, Treg? I personally like it. It's one of my favourite ones. You can see the grass looks really nice, and the paint, you can tell it just looks nice.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, out of all the screenshots we're about to talk about, this is probably my favourite, and it has been since I first saw it. From the little details on the ball itself, to the kicking action, to the chasing player, to you being able to tell very clearly that that's Cornelio, to the stand behind, even though I'm not a fan of that stand itself, but the actual screenshot itself, this is one of my favourites. From the grass and the paint, and like you mentioned, even the clouds and the sky, everything just looks perfect. It looks unreal.
And the clouds, realistic, how they're looking and all that kind of stuff. It looks really good. And you can see even like a few darker clouds, as if there's like rain in the distance,
Yep.
I reckon that looks really good. The only thing I'm a little bit disappointed in there, and I'm hoping it is in the game, is just behind the old stand there. Sydney Tower. In Don Bramman 17 by Big Ant, it was there. I'm just thinking it might be just behind that stand. I'm not too sure.
I'm hoping that at the angle that this screenshot's taken at, it might just have cut it off a little bit just with that, because it's quite low to the ground. So you're hoping at a normal angle or even a top-down view, you'll be able to see that behind the stand there.
Well, fingers crossed that one is there, just as a little detail. Obviously, it doesn't really affect gameplay, just getting on the little picky side of things. So we move on to the next one. And another one I don't mind too much is this one here at Etihad Stadium. A night game with the roof open. And I'm really keen to play at Etihad with the roof open, as AFL 1, it wasn't able.
Yeah, correct.
AFL 2, it was, but, there weren't too many people online and stuff, so I didn't really get into it too much. But this one looks really good, especially with Dare on the front of the Saints Guernsey.
Oh, I love that, yeah. And as you said, having the roof open and everything like that is just fantastic. The only criticism I have here, and I'm not sure why it hasn't been added in, but you can see on the top of the roof there on the left-hand side, you can see the Etihad Stadium logo, I guess, instead of Lockett or Coventry. And I'm a little bit disappointed in that. I'm not overly sure why. Maybe they didn't get the rights to those particular players' names. I don't know. But just a little nitpicky thing. But everything else in there, the grass itself, like I said, the logos, the Guernseys, you can tell who the players are. It's just, it's awesome.
and that's an interesting point you do make regarding the ends and the names for the ends. It's been in most of the AFL games before this one. It's just interesting to see it a bit different. Another thing, as we said, another little picky thing, but the stadium altogether looks pretty good.
Yeah.
You can see the corporate boxes there in the background might have a bit of a green tinge to it, but that's just the light reflecting off it.
Yeah.
You can tell that's a licensed umpire there. You can tell that looks like Jackie Stephen in the background, I would say. And Toddy Goldstein, he looks all right. I just think his body looks a little bit out of proportion. But then again, it's... By the looks of it, the best graphics we've had,
Yeah, and that's just, once again, a nitpicky thing. And on the umpire, you can tell I can't remember his name, so anybody out there, chuck in the comments who that is. Is it Nichols? I could be, yeah. But I call him Simon Overland. That's what the Triple M callers used to call him, because that's who he looks like with that. You can tell it's him there. As we go on to the next screenshot, you can see this is Armfield being chased by Koch, and I love that kicking action, leaning back on it, having a shot. The only thing, and we've spoken about this privately a little bit, is the Guernsey on Dennis Armfield. I wouldn't call it the greatest. This is probably my least favourite of the screenshots, and that's just because of that Guernsey. It kind of looks a little bit cartoony, and I know you're going to say it's an animated game, I get that, but... it just looks a bit too cartoony for my liking. Yeah,
it just looks like it's sticking to the body too much, and it looks like it's almost painted on him.
Yeah.
Rather than actually a Guernsey, it has a little bit of slack in it.
Yep.
Then again, the footy, perfect shape yet again, looks amazing.
Yeah.
And all the players running toward the goal, bar looks like Marich and Cruiser running the other way, which I'm not too sure what that is. Maybe they think Dennis is going to stuff it up and there's going to be a kick in. I'm not too sure. The MCG looks amazing.
Just awesome. And me being, I'm a Hawthorn supporter for those out there, and seeing a lot of games at the G, it's a Coliseum, and they look to have got it absolutely spot on. It looks fantastic, it does.
Move on to the next one at the MCG, and the same game yet again. And you can see there a player taking a mark, and you can see the tunnels in the background, the goals. And in this screenshot, personally, I don't see too much colour in the crowd. I don't know whether that's the Carlton navy blue or not, but I just feel as if that screenshot's lacking a bit of colour in the crowd.
Well, yeah, when you really get down to it, Carlton is a navy blue, and also Richmond have a lot of black in their Guernsey as well. So that could be the case, but I do very much see your point on that.
And you can see just right of the Carlton player there, the umpire's having a bit of a leg race with the Richmond player.
He is, yeah. It looks like
he's beating him too. Jeez, I'd be giving him a game, I reckon. Absolutely. Move on to the next screenshot. This one is going to be also one of the favourites. Lance Franklin clearly looks like he's pinging it from about 65 out. If it's at the SCG, he's probably about 50. The grass, again, really close down to Buddy's foot there. You can see it looks really nice.
It does, yeah.
And just the ball drop looks really good. And you can see him lighting up. You can tell it's going to be a big, nice kick. And
and once again, this is up there with one of my favourite screenshots too. Just because you can see as he's kicking the ball, you can see the player. It looks like it could be a Giants player there going up for the smother. He's going up to sort of block the ball, and as Bud's kicking the ball, you can see he's looking straight down at it. It looks very, very realistic, and I really like that. That's probably the more realistic kicking actions we've seen in a video game, an AFL video game so far. I reckon that looks fantastic.
Well, that's the thing. I love the fact that the opposite hand, the hand that ain't guiding the ball down, is out nice and wide. And
for balance, yep.
It looks really nice.
It does.
I reckon that's been really well done there by Wicked Witch. So we move on to the next one, and you can see there the ball is in a bit of rotation from a nice little drop punt. Yet again, some nice sponsor boards in the background. And one thing I've noticed, there hasn't been too many different sponsors so far. You got your Coca-Cola, Toyota, NAB, Auskick, and then the stadium.
Yeah.
I like this screenshot purely because there's a few empty seats there, Trek.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And
it's
like
realistic for a North Melbourne
game. Oh, yeah, it's realistic for a North Melbourne game. And just looking at the team they're playing, see, I can't. It looks like maybe St Kilda.
Yeah,
looks a bit like St Kilda.
St Kilda Guernseys in the crowd there, so I think that's who they are playing. So it might be the same from the same game as earlier on with Goldie in the ruck.
Yep.
And I will say, this is just me getting down to the finer details. I just love the graphics on that ball. Looking at the shine from the lights and the reflection on the ball, it just looks fantastic. It really does.
And yet again, after the players kick the ball, you can see the way the balance moves in the hands, and the hand that's guided the ball down is now getting close toward the ground.
Yep.
And I reckon that's a nice little screenshot too.
Yep, I do
One of
too.
the more underrated ones they released.
Although
I
I
reckon.
will say one thing, I've just noticed it then. The player in the background there, the Kangaroos player, once like the screenshot earlier, he's running the opposite way, so I'm not sure what he's doing. I would say he's running to the bench, but I think he's on the wrong side for that. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Yeah.
Move on to the next one, and this is going to be the favourite one if you are an MCG. If you're a footy lover in general, because the MCG is just it's home. It's everybody's second home, I would say.
It is.
And you can see there just, what a magnificent finish to it.
Yep. Even the shade,
It looks like a nice little twilight, and the
absolutely.
shade coming over the ground. You can see the grandstand,
Yep.
the window holes in the shades, and
the pinkish orange colour of the clouds and that. The sun's setting, and it just looks magnificent. It's picturesque. It looks beautiful. I love it.
imagine watching a replay from that angle. Teams run down on grand final day on Ev, and you be a pro or whatever features they have. It'll be good to see, I reckon.
And that's probably something I think that AFL Live 2 got right. I think their Twilight games look quite good because they're at that time of the day where the sun was setting and it had that orangey, pinky sort of a feel to it, and I thought they did that quite well.
Yeah,
so it looks like
I remember I was one of the first ones to try the DLC with that, and the Twilight at Adelaide Oval, boy, was that was great.
That was fantastic.
Having a set shot toward the scoreboard, and one thing I did like about too is their graphics and the way they came out with that DLC, and they really hit it hard. And I personally reckon it was not a bad game after the DLC.
Yep.
I didn't mind the graphics, and you can tell going up to PS4 now they've taken another step yet again.
100%.
Okay, we move on to the ones released by JB Hi-Fi, and we'll get through these ones relatively quickly. Quick thing we can see, Nichols, he's got his right sock up, his left sock is down, which is a big one there.
That's big, yeah. That's it's underestimated how big that is. I love that.
And you watch the footy on the weekend, Trig. We watch most of the games together, and I reckon good 85% of the ruckman had one sock up, one sock down, so that's just more realism to it.
100%.
Gary Ablett looks like he's got his beard there, I think. I'm not too sure. If you can just look
it does too.
closely, it looks like he's got his beard still. And then you can see in the background, which is something I really like, is everybody's in their positions.
Yeah.
In the background, your pockets, your full forward and all that kind of stuff. The only thing, maybe the wingers are a bit far back from the square. They should be standing on the line, but that is what it is. And the other thing, maybe with the midfielders, they're all standing in the same topper hunch.
Yeah.
But, that's a still shot.
Yep. And in saying that, particularly with the wingers, the umpire is only holding the ball up. He's not actually in the art of bouncing it. So they're just walking up to the line, I think, getting ready to take it on.
We move to the next one here at the Gabba, and you can see it's a pretty empty Gabba.
Realistic.
Pretty realistic, I would have thought too, at the old Woolen Gabba. And yet again, another ruck screenshot, and it looks pretty good, Treg.
Yeah, I like it. I do like that.
One thing I like about the Lions, Guernsey, you can see the little mini Lions logos.
Yeah.
You can see them printed in on the shirt there, and I reckon that's just a nice little touch.
Just down to the detail, isn't it?
Now this one had a little bit of criticism, this next screenshot. Bryce Gibbs on the opposite, doing a barrel from about 35 out.
I have a theory about this screenshot. No, this has copped a bit of flack over the past, few days or week since it's been released. People saying, kicking a running torp and kicking it on his opposite boot. But I have a theory in, maybe they've done this on purpose. They've showed what it looks like kicking a torpedo on the run. He's got it perfectly positioned. I reckon you can tell that he's kicking a torp. I don't think he's kicking a drop punt. So I just think they've done this on purpose to show us fans and us waiting for the game what it looks like.
Exactly right. Another few things you can notice is Gary Ablett looks like he's running back toward Geelong, trying to get out of the Gold Coast. And another one is, I don't think many people have noticed this one, with the roof open, a nice sunny day, no clouds about, realistic, because half the ground has got a shadow, which in a day game it does. And you can see the grandstand and all that, and the nice shadows there, and I reckon that's a nice little balance.
Yeah, well, I'll play devil's advocate here. I'm wondering what time of day this is at. This could be a very sort of early game. This could be a 1:10 game where the shadow hasn't crept over the ground yet, and you can see the shadow partially on the crowd and the other goals sort of bathed in sunlight. So I'm thinking that might be what it is. So just devil's advocate there. Yeah, I love this screenshot.
This next screenshot, Elliot, clean skinned Elliot having a shot at goal, and you'd think he'd be kicking that one. Twilight, the big MCG scoreboard, the new screen there. The cheers squad. One thing I'd like to see is a few more. What do you call them? The floggers and all that kind of stuff the
flags and everything.
Yeah, there are a few floggers in the Collingwood cheer squad, but what I mean, a few banners and all that kind of stuff being held up as he's having a shot, because he's obviously going to kick the goal.
Yep.
and your fans get excited and all that kind of stuff. I like that. Your quick thoughts on this one?
Yeah, no, I like this screenshot, and I do agree with you. I would like it if there's, a few flags, banners, the floggers themselves, especially if that's the dog's end, which I can't really tell. But yeah, no, overall though, I do like this screenshot. Good kicking action, and just graphically, it's impressive. The Toyota on the padding, and yeah, I like this screenshot.
Move on to the last one, and this one here is a player shot of Eddie Betts. And personally, this has been my favourite one yet.
Yep.
Now you can see the nice texture there in his face, and it's good to see him as a Crow.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, no, and that's probably one of my favourite of the screenshots. Of the facial screenshots that I saw, as Eddie Betts just looks like Eddie Betts.
And the reason I show this one, Treg, out of all of them, personally my favourite, personally your favourite, and you said he's your little smoky for the Coleman this year.
Yeah, he is. He's very much my smoky. He kicked mid-50s last year. I think he kicked 55 goals last year as a small forward. So he had a pretty good start on the weekend too. So I know you've got your Lynch and your Kennedy and your Buddy and these sorts of players. But if there's going to be a small forward who's going to win it, it'll be him for mine.
I couldn't agree anymore. All right, guys, that is us here at BGL Media done. We have an online competition starting up. Also does the AFL Hub. They've got a few divisions, so search up BGL Media on Facebook. Link will be in the description. So like, comment, and subscribe. And one last thing from Treg.
For those that might not be in the AFL Hub itself, go check it out. Plenty of banter, plenty of stuff about AFL Ev. There'll be, as my mate Dobbs said, there'll be plenty of competitions and even friendlies and practice matches and whatever going on. So there'll always be something to do. So go check that out on Facebook too, the AFL Evolution Hub.
And we'll be back soon when there's more screenshots and gameplay and all that type of stuff to have a look at it, give our thoughts again, and there'll be a few videos in the near future regarding drafts, trading news and all that with the BGL Media competition. But for today, folks, that is all. As I said, like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.